Okay. So today we're going to be using our yoga straps. Kind of hard to point behind me like that. Okay. And we're going to start on our backs and we will focus on our core. So you're going to hear a lot of hold your belly in, use your core, engage your core. So just know that ahead of time. And we'll be about a 45, maybe 50-minute class. All right. So let's get settled on our backs with our knees up. And go ahead and have your strap where you can reach it. And just get yourself settled. Put the strap aside for the moment. We want to always start by relaxing, by getting grounded, physically grounding yourself. So you want to feel that physical connection between your body and the floor. And then once we feel that sensation, we can bring our focus to our breath. And now go ahead and bring your hands underneath your ribs. So they're just resting softly underneath your ribs. Your elbows are resting on the floor. You're still relaxed. And notice your breath. Notice how your body moves as you breathe in and out. And sometimes we feel the sensation mostly in our bellies, and sometimes we feel it mostly in our chests. So just notice if you feel your belly expand and contract as you breathe in and out. And then we're going to focus on our diaphragms. So if you remember, your diaphragm is underneath your ribs. It's a thin, very strong layer of tissue that protects your lungs and your heart and your internal organs. And so as we inhale, the diaphragm moves down towards our torsos, towards our bellies. It expands like a balloon. And then as we exhale, it comes right back up where it was, protecting your lungs and your heart. So just visualize your diaphragm as you breathe in and out a couple more times. And now we're going to focus on our exhales for 3 breaths. And every time we exhale, we're going to pull the diaphragm up and pull our bellies in and hold the breath out. So do that 3 times. Really strong exhales, pulling your diaphragm up as you pull your belly in. And then pause. And then let yourself breathe naturally. And now we can start to move. So we're just going to start with some windshield wipers. And you can let your arms come out in a T position as you let your legs start to move side to side. These movements can be big or small. You just want to move slowly. And we're breathing naturally. We can focus on our breath here if we like. We can inhale as our legs come up and exhale as our legs come down. The next time your legs come to the right side, pause there. And just take a few breaths here. And then on your next inhale, slowly lift your legs up. And then exhale to the left and pause there. And we're holding for 3 or 4 breaths. And again, on an inhale, let's come back up to neutral. And maybe lift and lower your low back so that you can reposition your back. Make sure your spine is in neutral. And then we're going to bring both knees up towards our chest. And just hold on lightly to start with. And reach over and hold on to your right knee with both hands. Lift your left leg straight up into the air and flex both feet. And then slowly lower your left leg down almost to the floor, 2 or 3 inches off the floor. And feel your left hip joint and feel the connection between your left leg and your left side of your lower belly. Everything is connected. And then on your next inhale, lift your left leg up, bend your knee, and let's switch sides. So holding your left knee in, stretching your right leg up, and keeping both feet flexed. And again, on an exhale, slowly lower your right leg down almost to the floor and pause. Feeling the connection between your right leg and your right lower belly. And now let's alternate with our breath. So we're going to inhale as the right leg comes up and exhale. Hold on to your right leg, left leg comes down. That's all on the exhale. And then inhale, left leg up, exhale, right leg down. Again, inhale and exhale. And now just move with your breath. Do this a few more times. One more time on each side. And then we're going to bring our feet back to the floor with our knees up. And take a minute and reposition your back again. And we're going to stay focused on our hips for the next movement. And then we're going to start to move the focus up to our upper bodies. So we're going to do a figure 4 pose with our strap. And remember, we're just warming up, so we don't want to try to come into the biggest figure 4 pose ever. So take the strap and wrap it around the back of your left thigh. And then cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Notice your right hip. And then start to bring your legs up closer to your belly, using that strap as an extension of your arms. So you're not reaching through, you're not putting a lot of effort into this. The strap is helping you. And just hold here in a nice, comfortable position, feeling that intensity moving down your right hip, down into your bottom, maybe even down into your right thigh. So find the edge. Where's the edge of this position? And then decide if you want to stay there or back off a little. We'll try this again at the end and notice if there's any difference. Okay, let's release and switch sides. So left foot down, strap moves over to your right thigh, and cross your left ankle over your right thigh. And then bring your legs closer to your belly. One more breath. And then we'll release. And go ahead and bring the strap out to your side. Don't worry about the strap for the next few movements. Reposition yourself, and then take your arms out in a T position, palms facing up. Walk your heels up toward your bottom. And let's do our first bridge pose. Press into your feet and lift your spine off the floor. And so far, we've mostly worked with our lower bodies, with our legs and our hips. You're going to start to feel more effort moving up into your torso as we continue in this bridge pose. Now you can stay in bridge pose or lower down for a breath or two. Our next position is another bridge with your hands underneath your back. So your palms are resting on the floor, maybe pressing down into the floor. Or you can interlace your fingers and press your arms down towards the floor. So that's when you start to feel it more in your shoulders. Thighs are working, your glutes are working, your belly is working, but it's kind of working upside down. It's at a nice angle. And now again, you can take a break from bridge, lowering down, or you can stay right where you are as you move your arms all the way up overhead, palms facing up. So take your time. I'm not holding these poses too long today. One more breath. And then bring your palms together overhead and inhale as you lift your arms up, and exhale, lower your back down. Let your hands rest underneath your ribs again and walk your feet out so you can relax for a couple breaths. All right. So our next position is going to be on our hands and knees. So take your time, rolling to one side and helping yourself up. And then make your way onto your hands and knees. We won't need our strap for that. And once you're on your hands and knees, let your hips start to move side to side. This is called wag your tail. And I like to go slowly and just really feel that stretch. You could go a little faster if you like. Just kind of warming up your low back and your hips and your spine. And the next time your hips come to the right side, pause there. And then turn your head to the left. Feeling that stretch in your right side. And you know, we're going to do the other side. So go ahead and inhale back to neutral. Exhale, hips to the left, and then turn your head to the right. One more breath. And then let's come back to neutral and go right into cat pose. Tuck your tailbone and round your back. Then on your next inhale, start to lift your tailbone. Let your belly drop down. Press your shoulder blades down your back as you lift your head into cow pose. So we're lifting our heads, but we're not hyperextending our necks. So we want to lift our heads just enough that we feel just a little bit of stretch on the sides of our neck. We don't want to feel any tension in the backs of our necks. And now we're going to flow through cats and cows with our breath. Inhaling to neutral, tucking your tailbone, pulling your belly in. And then inhaling again to neutral and exhaling back into cow pose. Now your belly stretches out and your back is compressed. So do that 4 more times. Inhaling to neutral, exhaling to cat, belly pulled in. Inhale, neutral, exhale, cow. 3 more. This is the last time. So after your next cow pose, bring your spine to neutral and then press back into child's pose. You can come onto your forearms. You can make space between your knees if you like. Maybe rotate your wrists. And now our next position is going to be on our forearms and our knees. So we're taking the pressure off of our wrists for the next sequence. So go ahead and come up onto your forearms, bringing your palms together. And you can walk your knees out to the sides. We're going to be moving forward and back. And so here's where we're going to start to focus more intensely on our core. So hold your belly in before you do anything else. And then as you inhale, move your chin towards your thumbs. And as you exhale, press your hips towards your heels. Again, inhale, forward, hold your belly in. Exhale, back. Release your belly, release your back. 3 more times. And the next time you come back towards your heels, go ahead and stay there. And when you're ready, come back up onto your hands and knees. We're going to do one more movement here from hands and knees. So it's like thread the needle, but we're not going to thread the needle. We're just going to start it. We're going to start to thread the needle and then we're going to stop. So you're nice and solid on your hands and knees, and you're pressing down into your right hand. And as you inhale, raise your left arm up and stop right there. And take a few breaths. Belly pulled in, and that nice little twist in your back and your sides. Really opening up your ribs. And then on your next exhale, lower your left arm down, reposition yourself, and then we'll do the other side. So press into your left hand, and as you inhale, raise your right arm up and stop right there. About 5 or 6 breaths. And then on your next exhale, lower down. And again, you can rest in child's pose if you like, or sit back on your heels, or stand on your knees, anywhere you like to rest, and just make some circles with your wrists. Okay, so we are preparing for a downward facing dog next. And from down dog, we're going to come up to a standing position. So one more time, back to hands and knees. And if you like, you can hold plank for 4 or 5 breaths. This is our best core exercise in yoga. This is really works your core muscles because you have to use your core. You can't just lift your knees and expect your arms to do all the work. So stay here as long as you like, and then press up into downward facing dog. One more breath. And then we're going to come up into forward fold next, and we're going to get there by walking our feet towards the center of the mat, hands towards our feet. It's just a little bit awkward. But once you get up, you can bring your feet parallel to each other. Your hands can rest on the mat, your shins, or your thighs. But see if you can let your upper body kind of relax and drop down. Feel in the backs of your legs. And then when we come up out of this, we're going to come into a chair pose. So when you're ready, bend your knees, hold your belly in, sweep your arms out to the sides, and inhale as you lift up. Bring your arms out in front of you. I know you can't see me, but if you've done chair pose before, your body knows what to do. And then we'll come into mountain pose next. So inhale, lift all the way up, and exhale, palms together, down to your heart, and relax your shoulders. And just relax there for a couple breaths. I'm going to move my screen up. If you need to move your screen, that's fine. Okay. So we're going to be doing a Warrior One flow today with our straps. But before we get there, let's kind of just do a little bit of kind of easy movement before we get into the more serious poses. So come into a wide stance, and with your hands on your hips, make some circles with your hips. So these little transitions and little resting poses in between our big poses are just as important as any of the yoga poses we do. We gotta have balance. We don't wanna just work, 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 work. We need to rest. Resting is just as important as work. Go ahead and reverse your circles. And then let's come back to neutral. Release your arms down by your sides. Take a couple breaths. And then one time, we'll lift our arms up into the air and press down. So you're exhaling as you're pressing down, grounding yourself. And then go ahead and step back towards mountain pose. If you're on a yoga mat, you want to be facing the short end of your mat and grab your strap. Now you can do this whole sequence without the strap, but the strap adds just a little bit more stability and it really does encourage you to use your core muscles. So don't come all the way to the top of your mat, especially if you have a piece of furniture in front of you, because we're going to end up in a warrior three. So you want to have room to stretch your arms out in front of you. Okay, so start in mountain pose. Taking a few breaths. And then we're going to be working right into warrior one next. So step your right foot back and bend your left knee and build your foundation. Make sure your foundation is nice and strong and stable before you do anything with your arms. And then for warrior one, we simply raise our arms up to a 45-degree angle and stay right there. So you can hold your belly in lightly if you like, or you can really work. Pulling your belly in as tight as you can. It's up to you. All right, now we're going to do a little bit of arm movement here. So as you exhale, bring the strap down and around towards your belly. And then inhale, reach up again, and exhale back down. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach up. Exhale down. 1 more. And then let your arms stay down. And take the strap around behind your back, holding on wherever you can. Your hands don't need to touch each other. You can hold on in a wide stance if you like. And then once you get a good grip on your strap, press down, stretching out your shoulders and your chest. Again, holding your belly in. It's not easy when you're leaning back. So just be aware of that. Do what you can. One more breath. And then release your arms, release the strap, bring the strap back around in front of you. And we're going to come into humble warrior. So hold on to the strap, let the strap sort of hang out on your thumb, bring your palms together and to your heart, and then hold your belly in and hinge at the hips. So we're only coming to a 45-degree angle. And again, belly pulled in as you lift yourself up. Okay, find your center. And then we're going to move into warrior three next. So take that strap out in front of you, arms parallel to the floor. Here I go again. Hold your belly in as you shift forward. And you might just pause once you get forward and your right big toe is on the floor. You might stay right there. That's okay. You're still using your core muscles. You're still working. If you want to try to balance, start to lift your right leg up behind you. And even if you lift it a couple inches, that's good. All right. We're going to come out of this back into warrior one. So stepping your right foot back where it was, and maybe reposition yourself. Arms come down in front of you. And then one more time, we're going to bring our hands to our hearts and turn gently to the left for a little bit of a twist. So feel the sensation from your right side, from your right ribs, down through your right hip, down into your right thigh. One more breath. And then on your next inhale, bring your torso back to center. On your exhale, release your arms and step forward back to mountain pose. And let's just rest here in mountain pose for a few breaths. Finding your breath. We're going to do the same sequence on the left side. So that was 5 poses. And when you're ready, take a step back with your left foot and build your foundation. So take your time building your foundation. And then when you're ready, find your warrior one. Holding your belly in lightly. We're going to do those circles again. We're just doing 3. So bring your arms down in front of you. And then inhale as you circle up. And exhale as you circle down. 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. And this time when your arms come down, stay there. Relax. And then bring your arms and the strap around behind your back and hold on wherever you can. And then press down. So your back is naturally going to arch a little when you do this. One more breath. And then start to release your arms, release your torso, bringing the strap around in front of you. Holding on to the strap, let it drape around your thumbs and find prayer pose. Then hold your belly in and hinge at the hips into humble warrior. Holding your belly in. Reminding yourself that you are strong and humble. We know our strengths and our weaknesses, and we accept everything. Humble warrior. And then hold your belly in again, a little tighter as you lift up. And prepare for warrior 3. So arms come out parallel to the floor. You're still holding on to that strap. Engage your core muscles. So another way of saying that, hold your belly in, shift forward, left big toe on the floor and pause. Stay there if you like. or start to lift your left leg up. As you do, your body is going to start to lean down. So take your time. If you're shaking, that's okay. And then we're coming right back to warrior one pose. Ooh. It's a little awkward getting there. Bringing our palms together again at our hearts, and then turning gently to the right. Feel that twist on your left side. Breathe into it. This is our last big pose. All right. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release your arms down and step back to mountain pose. And you can put your strap down next to your mat. You may use it at the end, but right now we don't need the strap. So let's just take a minute here in mountain pose. Feeling your breath. Noticing how your exhales encourage your body to let go. One more breath. We're going to do one more big pose. Sorry, we're going to make our way down to the floor next. So we're just going to come into a downward facing dog. So inhale up, exhale, hinge at the hips, come all the way down, bend your knees, bring your fingertips to the floor. Step one foot back, other foot back. Now your palms are on the floor and you can come into downward facing dog. And you can stay here as long as you like. You could also move into a plank pose if you like. But eventually, we're going to drop our knees down, press back towards child's pose, and gradually make your way over onto your back with your knees up, right back where we started. And then we're going to try that figure four pose again. With the strap. And once you're settled, take the strap around behind your left thigh. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh and pull your legs up. And again, I said pull, but we're not really pulling. We're just kind of helping our legs up. Notice how your right hip feels now. You just did a lot of work. So these muscles are warmed up. They're softer. They're more willing. Just stay here for a few more breaths. It's like giving your body a gift at the end of your class. To find a pose that you find slightly difficult and know that it feels better once you've worked a little. Know that you can get just a little deeper and enjoy the stretch. Let's take a couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, slowly lower your left foot down Uncross your right foot and switch sides. So strap behind your right thigh, left ankle over your right thigh. And then when you're ready, bring your legs closer to your belly. We're not really engaging our core muscles for this, but everything is connected. So if you're stretching out your hamstrings and your glutes and your hips and your thighs, that's all connected to your core. Some of it is actually considered part of your core. So your core is the center of your body. And you could make that, you could take it all the way up to your shoulders if you like. The idea is a strong core supports the rest of your body. It supports your arms and your legs and your hands and your feet and your neck. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And release when you're ready. And we are finished with the strap. And now we have 3 or 4 minutes to do other cool down poses. And I'm going to call out a few and you choose one or two. Knees to chest is always good at the end. You can do one at a time or both at the same time. Happy baby pose is always a good one. Butterfly. So you can do a butterfly with your legs up, or if you're really careful, you can bring your feet down to the mat and then do a butterfly pose, letting your knees fall out to the sides. You want to take your time though. Most of us are pretty tight in our inner thighs. So butterfly really challenges that part of our bodies. So just take your time. Find your edge and don't go over the edge. And then you can also do windshield wipers. And if you're near a wall, or if you have a chair nearby, you can lift your legs up. So if you have a chair, you could actually bend your knees and let your lower legs rest in the chair. That could be your final resting pose. So you choose. Sometimes your body just starts to move and you don't have to name it. Sometimes our bodies know more than our brains. Eventually, you can just rest. You've done your work. Now it's time to rest. Now take your time, bringing your focus to your breath. And then gradually start to deepen your breath. Maybe start to move your head or your hands or your feet. Just slowly bringing yourself back. And eventually rolling over onto your side and helping yourself up into a sitting position. And then once you're settled, bring your hands to your heart. Rub your hands softly. And then open your hands out to the sides. Inhale up overhead and exhale down to your heart. Namaste. Thank you all for being here today.